कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, अरे कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो। साहब मिले सबूरी में, अरे साहब मिले सबूरी में, मन लागो यार फकीरी में।
So although, theoretically I know and understand that ultimately the truth and beauty lies within and we cannot seek it outside, but somewhere, no matter how much I try, I find it very difficult to actually connect to my inner self and be in appreciation of it. So no matter what, I get very affected by people's behavior and I hold on to it, and I know all of it that I should live in the present and I shouldn't hold on to anything because it means nothing at the end of the day. But that's how I always tend to operate, and then when I try to remind myself that I have to first start respecting and loving myself, and then I think there's a huge conflict, because the moment I do that, I am immediately reminded of the 1,000 things wrong with me. So then I'm like, oh my God, there's just so much that I need to change and transform, and so much not right about the way I am. So then,
how can I be perfect or beautiful?
Yeah, as in, which is why, so that loving and connecting to myself or my body doesn't happen.
Yes.
Although I know that, that's the way to be.
You see, you talked of 3 ways of relating to yourself: appreciating, loving, connecting. Let's say here is this poster containing a quote. Even if you connect to it, sitting there, you connect to it, yet what remains between you and this quote?
Imbibing it?
No. Do you become one with the quote in your attempt to connect with it? You remain.
Yeah.
You remain. When you appreciate it, you also reserve the right to not to appreciate it.
Yeah.
You chose to appreciate it, but you could have chosen to not to appreciate it. So who remains the master, you or the poster?
Me.
You. With the truth, one can neither have a relationship of connection nor admiration. One can only surrender. You cannot appreciate the truth. You can go ahead and appreciate a column in some magazine, but to appreciate something is to still be the master, is to still be on top. Today you are appreciating, tomorrow you will say I am not appreciating, and even if you are appreciating, you are saying I am the one who is appreciating. I am the one. You must have connected to many things in your life. Have you ever connected with anything so intimately that the connection is final, so final that it is like two miscible liquids meeting each other, or salt dissolving in the sea, or an embrace with a beloved which cannot be now separated? It is never that way, right? Whenever you connect to something or somebody, the connection is always temporal, and it is going to be split in a while. Has any connection ever been resistant to time? Time proof? Has any connection ever been proof to disruption? It is always vulnerable to a split. Is it not? One does not relate with truth or beauty like that. The one who is trying to relate is the body-mind. The body-mind has read concepts. The body-mind has heard theoretically, just as you said in the beginning of your question. And the body-mind can only know concepts because it cannot go any beyond that. So whenever it will think of the truth, it would just be thinking of the truth as a concept and trying to relate. With what? With truth as an object. Now when the body thinks of something, what else can it think of? It can only think of bodies. Have you ever thought of something which is not limited and is not a body? Have you ever thought of something which is not in time and space? Even if you have the weirdest imagination, the object in your imagination will always be confined by time and space. So when you say I am connecting to myself, this I am that is connecting on one end, as well as the thing that you are connecting to on the other end, both are just body mind. The body mind here is projecting a body mind truth on the other end and is trying to have a connection. First of all, that which you are connecting to is false. Truth is not an object. Second, one does not connect to the truth. One does not go to the truth as some kind of a reservoir of energy or inspiration. One dissolves in the truth. One disappears in the truth. One is no more in the truth. And that is a totally different relationship with the truth. A relationship in which you go to die. It is not a relationship that you enter to prosper or to be inflated. It will inevitably happen, the thing that you said, that one tries to connect with herself as beautiful, as admirable, as some kind of a perfection. But very soon that attempt is defeated because the facts start staring you in the face. What are the facts? I am calling myself admirable, but what did I just do? Oh, I spoiled the tea. I was making some tea and even the tea did not come off. Now how admirable and how perfect I can be if I cannot even make good tea? Immediately the thought will come. You are admirable, but the you that you are now referring to is not you. You are two. This one must worship this one and be dissolved in this one, be surrendered to this one, in some sense be enslaved to this one. But this one is very insecure. This one will not surrender to this one. Instead, this one will try to conceptualize this one. This one will try to have an image of this one, and then this one just has this one pretending to be this one. So then this one, if at all it is worshipping itself. It is not worshipping this, it is worshipping itself. Do you see this? And when it will worship itself, it will be disappointed. Why? Because it is separate from beauty, hence it is. This is where beauty is, this is where truth is, and this is separated from this, or believes itself to be separated from this. Their root is the same, yet here at least there is a separation. So it believes itself to be separated, and if this is beauty, then this will take itself to be ugly. Now this is trying to worship itself, and all that it will find is ugliness. It will be disappointed. Do you see why it will repeatedly happen? Do not connect to yourself. Instead, just see what you are doing. Surrender is about looking at one's daily life, which is not imaginary. Do not try to think of an imaginary God. Live in the facts. See how you make tea. See how you teach someone. See how you go about doing your daily tasks. See how you drive. See how you enter into a relationship. See how you attend to a phone call. See how you meet a dog on the street. See what is your reaction to a tree or to a kid. This will tell you about this, because we mostly operate from here, from this center. In knowing this, one becomes free of this, because knowing is impossible without the help of this. The more you know this, the more it is certain that you are knowing. And knowing happens only here. Hence, the more you know this, the more you have reached here. This can have information and knowledge. This can have no understanding. Knowing is understanding. When you know this, then you have surely been functioning from here. So just knowing this is sufficient. Which means paying attention to daily life. Not indulging in meaningless spiritual pursuits, not rushing here and there, not going to some temple, not reciting some shlok or mantra, but just paying attention to how one deals with his customers or his patients or his relatives, how one responds to a defeat, how one responds to a victory, how one responds to a torn pair of trousers, how one responds to toothache. Just knowing this will take you beyond all this. And that is real beauty. In that lies perfection.
But how to know without judging? Like, the moment I am trying to sort of...
Continue to judge.
So then immediately, like, for example, I am very scared of animals and especially dogs. So I kind of detest having them around. And that very act of doing that immediately makes me judge myself that, they are supposed to be such amazing creatures, but I can't even appreciate them.
Two things are happening. One, you are afraid.
Yeah.
Second, you are also morally and socially conditioned to not to be afraid
Yeah.
of pretty beings like dogs.
Yeah.
As a kid, we all are taught that. Dogs and cats are cute beings, and one should live in harmony with all nature surrounding us, right?
Yeah.
One just knows that. Full stop. I have been spiteful. I have been detesting. One just knows that. One doesn't hide that. One says, you know what I just did? I hurt that poor dog. No. One is simply expressing the fact. And if the fact continues beyond that, and having hurt the dog, now I am feeling moral pangs of guilt and such things. One expresses that as well. Now I am experiencing guilt. And because this game is on continuously, so this inner expression, this inner confession is also continuously on, which means it cannot take time. Which means you have no time to ponder. Which means that it has to be parallel to the event. Which means that the event is going on, and here parallel to the event, there is a reflection. There is an instantaneous realization continuously going on. Okay, so hurting the dog, hurt the dog. Feeling guilty, feeling guilty. And then time is rushing on. And something else then happens. And there is something that is noticing all this, knowing all this. In knowing, there is no objective. Here, there are all judgments and objectives, and you need not suppress them. Even if you suppress them, you will suppress with an objective. So here, what is going on will remain. Let it remain. Let it remain. Just disown it. You stand here. I am afraid of dogs. Yes, I am afraid of dogs. We have our friend, Joy. He has this curious thing of referring to him not in the first person. You know what? Joy was really mean today. His name is Joy.
Okay.
You know what? Joy was really mean today. Joy was mean, right? Does that mean that he dislikes him due to his meanness? Probably yes, probably not. Doesn't matter. What matters is that he knew that he was mean. And this knowing is no special event, because you anyway know that, you experience that. So it is just about being honest and admitting.
Like writing a mental diary.
You can do that. But in writing a diary, you will lose out on precious time. Since life is always on, so you have no time to register something in a diary. If you register something in a diary, you will lag behind. You getting it? Do not try to correct yourself. There is no need to correct yourself. Just know yourself. And from this knowing, the best correction will come on its own. Just know yourself. You have no obligation to correct yourself. Because even if you correct yourself, you will correct yourself only according to a fabulous, contrived, imagined self-image. You will say, I am A, I want to become B. Now how does A, being A, know that B is wonderful? If A is someone who needs to be corrected, can A know that after correction B will be good for him? A is a fool. How can then A predict a desirable state for itself? A is a fool. A is a fool, that is why it needs to be corrected. Otherwise, what is the need for correction? So do not have any image of what you must become. Just know what you are. And in that knowing, if any change is to happen, it will happen. The fact is, in knowing, the deepest change has already happened.
Do we have to cultivate this as a habit, or do we have to?
It is already there. Just don't suppress it. Don't be afraid. This whole thing is not about bringing something new to you. This whole thing is just about saying, don't be afraid. You already know everything. Why are you not admitting? Is honesty about going out and finding something new? Or is it about just admitting what you already know? You already know everything that is essential. Just live in it. All of this will sound like beautiful impracticality, a romantic impossibility if you have no faith. If you will test this using your mind on the scale of logic, then you will find all of this to be just fiction. Nice to hear, but impossible to live in. To live in this, you require a certain faith, some surrender. At least take baby steps. A small prayer in Sanskrit devoted to our intrinsic fullness. The fact that you are all right and lack nothing. You are all right and lack nothing even if everything is taken away from you. All right. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.